Hello, happy Monday to everybody that is messaging in the chat already. It is good to be back with you. I hope you are all doing absolutely amazing. I've had one of the most busiest weeks since David and I last caught up. I'm excited to speak with him today. We've got a lot going on, lots to talk about. We're going to be talking about making huge decisions today. And I know that a lot of you have had, you've been going through quite a lot over the last couple of years in particular. So let's bring David in. You don't want to hear from me. All right, love?
Oh, is this happening, is it?
How are you?
I'm very well, Lucy. Thank you very much.
Good.
I've had a busy week as well. I've already had one interview today. I know you've got a couple to do as well, but this is our life. This is the penance, the cross that we bear, Lucy. The penance we bear, the chit chats.
For our sins, we got to keep guessing, haven't we? Oh, so they're saying there's a bad echo.
For me, it sounds okay. It tends to be better is when you put a headphone in. I think it's your laptop. I use a separate microphone.
Can Dave, do you mind just answering if this is better with me like this? Because I had my headphones in, interestingly enough, but a short time ago. Okay, so Mahoney is saying it's okay.
Yeah, I think it sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's go. And if there's an echo, we'll sort it out.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me too. Right.
Sounds good to me, baby.
This week has been pretty crazy. So this time last week, I was obviously just finishing up in London. I was doing a Joe Dispenza event up there, and I've got to be honest with you, the day after I spoke to you guys was like the biggest crazy time of my life ever. I just want to share a little bit about that, and then there's a few other things that I'd like to just chat about. And David, I think everybody would love to know what you've been up to as well, because we need to be sharing insights into our life and letting people know where we are. And over the coming weeks, we're going to be sharing a lot more. So it's going to be really exciting for everybody. Yes. So last Tuesday morning, I had to be in the seminar for 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, 5 o'clock in the morning to most people is quite reasonable, especially when you've only got a few steps. But I do quite a lot of stuff like rituals and things before I can even go anywhere. So I was up at 3:30 in the morning to make sure I could get there on time for 5 o'clock. Now, as soon as I got there, I went into a very, very deep meditation, and I've explained this to David already, but you guys will laugh at this. So I went into meditation, and my guides came through, and the intention that I set for this was take me to a whole new level. Like, I'm ready. I'm going to surrender more than I've ever surrendered in my life. Like, I am ready to do this. And some of you that have followed me will know I've gone pretty freaking high. So I was ready to go off world completely. And so I dropped into this meditation. My guides came through and they went, "Are you sure that you're ready for this?" And I was like, "Bring it on." And then I was like, "Oh, is that my ego?" I was having this real chat with myself. Anyway, with that, it was like I was electrocuted on my heart. I flipped like a fish, and I'm not lying. I literally was flipping like a fish on the floor, whacked the back of my head, and then I just went off. And I just was shown realm after realm after realm after realm. And every single realm I was living in, and I was doing different things. But it was the top realm that, before I had to come back into my body, that was just the most profound, because you were there.
Me? I remember you. Did the line get cut off when we were doing that or something? Was I driving? When we doing something on? You said we were doing something on stage together. Was that the one?
Yeah, and on TV. So we were in a TV studio, and we had all of these lights around us, and it was and I was observing it, and we were so comfortable. We would chat, and just do it pretty much like we are now. But it was a whole new level. There was thousands of cameras looking at us, loads of people running around all over the place making it work, and I was remote viewing you and I. And then the next thing they showed me was us at a Twickenham Stadium kind of stadium, and I'm like, is this? Am I seeing the future, or am I seeing a different realm? And they were like, well, it's your choice. You can bring this into, and it was amazing.
Question. Well, actually, I could see that happening. I'd be very comfortable with that, especially with the topics that there's no script in this, guys. Believe me, this is all as it comes. Did you did you recognize yourself and me as the same shape, body, face, and everything? Or was it more the energy?
It's a really good question that you asked there. So I don't remember seeing you and I as Lucy and David. I remember us it being the souls. Like I remembered the resonance of the soul.
Right.
Because when you and I met in May, we both knew each other. We didn't know that we knew each other, but we our souls both went, oh, okay, right. And it was that familiar feeling. I actually feel that we were in our light bodies, but that kind of doesn't make sense because we were under the spotlight of cameras and everything, and we were definitely it was definitely a TV studio. Definitely a TV studio with just it was really, really, really powerful stuff. And then Joe Dispenza was like, okay, I'm going to have to ask you to come back, start focusing to come back into your body. And I was like, no, I'm good here. I'm happy. I just want to observe a little bit longer. I just need to know a little bit more. And he's like, come back to me. And I'm like, no. Because it was amazing. I'd literally seen all of these different layers, and it was profound. It was such an amazing experience.
Were they all positive, Lucy? All these different...
Every single one of them, yeah.
Yeah. That's quite interesting on a karmic journey, though, isn't it? Because if you're going through all these different dimensions and timelines, how they're all interconnected, how they're all on positive things. That's interesting.
It's very rare, David, and it's a really good point that you raise. Normally, what happens is you will go through and you will step through at least some of the stickiness. But what I truly believe, and this isn't coming from a space of ego or arrogance, I truly believe that over from when I was born up to maybe 2 years ago, I have dredged so much up. I don't question there's still lessons because I'm going to learn till the day I die, but it's the actual proper karmic ties that I truly believe now have been dealt with in the way that they need to be dealt with.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. See, folks, for everybody listening, I've not done. I shared my one story of leaving my body in the temple, right, with the giant creatures. Yeah, so that's the only time, and it was a clear indication. You should not be here. Go home. It was big finger like that, big long skinny arm, and so I'm interested. I'm hopefully going to pick your brains and get some tips. I actually had a couple of people ask Lucy, email me in saying it would be great to do a beginner's meditation course for all of us.
It's already in flight, everyone. It's already in flight. Yeah. However, I'm going to practice it on our Mr. Mahoney.
Oh, great! And then I get all vegetabilized.
Well, you told me. You told me that you do not meditate particularly well, if at all. That was your own words, if I remember correctly. So, and I took the challenge that I was going to help you with that. So that's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. I would be very grateful, Lucy, for anything that you teach me or share. So, yeah, let me be your laboratory rat as far as that goes. If it works out with me, we'll start working it out on the public.
It will definitely work on you, and it will definitely work on the public. In fact, ladies and gents, I'm not going to wait for him to approve it for us to go live with it. There may be some resistance here. But no, there is actually quite a number of meditations that I've done on my YouTube channel, guys. So if you want to go and listen to them, these meditations that I've done previously are very much taking people on a journey. Normally because I've been told that something's happened to the human race. So I go in and I basically see what I need to do, and then I take you on the journey to clear it. And that's just the way that I've worked to date. However, over the last few weeks, Over the last few years, I've been told that I must be doing much more meditations with people. But over the last few weeks, it's been very condensed to the point that I've written a program. I just now need to channel the meditations because that's the way that I work. I basically tap in and I say, okay, this is the subject. Like, how are we going to get people to evolve? And then they give me the words and they give me, what needs to be done. But I work in many, many, many different ways with people in meditation. I do not believe you need to sit there like a freaking Buddha to meditate. And this is how I know I'm going to get to you, Mahoney.
I just had a bad memory. Well, it's not particularly. Years ago in London, there used to be a cafe around the corner. And the guy in there was an Indian guy, and he had one of the massive Indian guitars, a sitar, huge thing. He was sitting amongst all these cushions, playing. And I used to go and say, "Hey, morning, mate. can I have a coffee, please? So he'd have to push the sitar away and get up out of all of his cushions and come and make it. And then he'd put it down, and then he'd go back and he'd sit down and get the sitar back. And then I'd say, yeah, a little bit of milk, please, mate. And he'd have to get back up. And I feel bad now for doing that. It's 30 years ago, probably 28, 30 years ago. And he was, you know what? He was so plastered. He never even said, why don't you bloody ask me when I was up there for bloody milk? He doesn't. He was just getting up, all namaste and peaceful. But I drove him mad just as a cheeky little thing. And I used to quite like listening to him when he was in his meditations, and he was playing his music, and I could see him where he was going. I realize what it is now, but I didn't realize at the time. So I'm sorry if you're still on the planet.
That's just it's just gold, isn't it, when you can look back and reflect and just recognize that actually you were being shown this all that time ago, but because we weren't ready to see it. We just weren't ready to see it, and that's okay. Some people still won't be getting this stuff. It's just not their time yet, but it will happen because it has to happen.
Yeah, open your eyes if you want to see. Open your ears if you want to hear. It's good lessons, A lot of people don't want to hear the truth. Absolutely. They don't want to hear bad news. Where are we going today then, Lucy? Shall we crack on what we're supposed to be talking about?
That was actually a really nice opener. Some people don't want to hear the truth. And I was like, well, he's just setting us up nicely to get going. So today we're going to be talking about making hard decisions. And actually, it's very important to recognise that most of the time we make decisions based on keeping ourselves in a comfortable state, right? So, you're in a relationship with somebody and you've got one set of opinions, they've got a different set of opinions, and you don't want to share your opinions because what if they leave you? What if they don't love you anymore? What if they punish you? That's another really good one, isn't it? So that's kind of where we wanted to go today. And the reasoning behind this is I feel that a number of us over the last 2 to 2.5 years, we've had changes in our family, changes in our jobs, changes with our children. I have a lot of ladies particularly reaching out to me saying, oh my God, Lucy, my son has taken this and I just don't know what to do about it. And I love those messages when I get them because I feel the pain that's going through the person. And, I'm always open to receiving messages of that kind from a man as well. But it is normally the ladies that reach out to me. And I'm able to actually offer some guidance as to how to navigate that, because we do get caught up in our own opinions and our own perspectives. So, David, if you don't mind, we'll shine the spotlight on you. How have the last 2.5 years been for you with regards to decisions? Because I know you used to travel a lot and you have been traveling a lot, but during that real, the throes of COVID, how was that for you? Because you couldn't have been able to travel because all planes were grounded. So how, just looking at it from like that and then maybe family, and it would be really good.
Well, I traveled a lot, Lucy. I kind of took no notice of it, to be honest. That's not really how am I going to answer that now? Look, the way my brain works, I'm wired differently. If I want to do something, they'll say, okay, you can't do this. I'll say, okay, why? Well, because you don't have the right document. So I say, well, what do I need? A PCR test. How do I get one of them? You go to the hospital and they stick a thing up your nose. Well, I'm not doing that. So what I need to give you is I need to give you a document saying that I've been tested and everything's okay. And they say, yeah. I say, okay. So there you go. There's your document. So I'm not the good example of that because I took no notice of it, because here's the expression that you've got to ask yourself. Well, there's two. We are getting an echo now, Lucy. I can hear it now.
I'll put the headphones back in and see if that changes it.
Yeah, try. The sound is good, but the echo.
Better?
How's that? Yeah, no echo now.
It sounds better to me like that, but.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's perfect. So here's the two expressions I love when it comes to making decisions. The first one is the juice worth the squeeze? That's it. If you want a little bit of mango juice, is it worth getting mango all over the house, covered up the walls, taking you half an hour to get that little tiny bit of mango juice? Do you really need it? Yes. Is the juice worth the squeeze? And what about opening a coconut? You get a coconut, you bring back, trying to get the coconut milk out. Is it worth all of that effort to get that little bit of coconut milk out? And this is what you've got to ask yourself about any of these decisions. Okay. Now, that's worked really well for me because I analyze it and say it's not worth it. But it goes to the next one, which is pick your battles. So in a relationship format, you know, your partner might say, oh, why do you have to watch this shitty program every night? I can't stand it. And you could turn around and say, well, I'm not asking you to sit here and sit watching. Why don't you fuck off? Why don't you go down to the pub with your mates? You can answer, you can respond with aggression, but pick your battles. In a situation like that, you respond with a trade-off. Say, oh, well, I kind of like it. You know, it's just a half hour, baby. I tell you what, I'll sit and watch, I don't know, a game show or a bit of football with you. Pick your battles. What's worth fighting? Now, in the COVID days of traveling, what was my battles? Well, I didn't get to see, if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be able to see important family members. Now, that's one of them is my son, and another one would be my mother. And also, I had a responsibility to carry on what my journey was getting the truth out there. So I needed to travel because as far as interviews and doing shows and getting them together and gathering intel and information, it was important for me to do it. So is the juice worth the squeeze? As I come back into this airport, what's the worst thing they're going to do? Well, I know what the law is. They can't force me to do anything. The most they can do is keep me there for an hour, wasting my time. And that to me is worth it. So how do we put this in place as far as it's this again, there's 3 lines involved in this. And I'm going to draw the line so people do it. There's a line that goes across, and then there's a plus. There's only 3 lines, and it's positive and negative. And it boils down to, are you going to be a positive person and see an obstacle as an opportunity to shine and overcome it? Are you going to be a negative person saying, I can't do that because they've told me I can't? You've got to turn the negative always to the bright side. So that means take a positive, turn it into a negative by just adding a line. And usually that line is just crossing it out. I'm going to ignore that. So I look at half glass, is the glass half full, half empty? It's always half full for me. I'll turn a negative into a challenge to say, okay, how am I going to get over this? This is a good one. How am I going to get from here to Bolivia with not one single PCR test or a vaccine certificate? And I did it, you know, and it's the same with people. For me, Lucy, who's positive in your life and who's negative? Pick your battles. Is it worth trying to convince your brother, your sister that this is all a big scam, a pandemic? You shouldn't take any inoculations. The government are lying to you. If they're going to sit there and say, oh, you and your conspiracy, you do my head in, you do. All you do is come around here and talk all that stuff that you've learned from the David Icke channel. Choose your battles. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Some people do not want to listen. They don't want to have their ears open or their eyes opened.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So, you know, and this is probably a challenging conversation for both you and I to have, although I think it's a very needed conversation because we are both get shit done people. You know, we will find a problem and just work around the solution for it. And, you know, both of us are extremely confident to have those kind of conversations. So I love the fact that Julie's just put in the chat, I just mentioned aliens and my family leave the room.
Then I get the remote.
That's the kind of thing that happens to me, Julie. So we must be soul sisters on another level somewhere, my love. But how do we help the people? Because I like to help people, and I know you always want to give people tangible assistance. So how do we help the people that are, you know, maybe a little bit older and their kids have taken it and they're on their own, maybe their partner's not around anymore, and that just there's more to it than literally just I'm going to stand in my truth and walk through this, walk through the flames kind of thing. Like, what advice would you give to those people? Because like I said, I get a lot of messages predominantly from women, older women, saying, oh, but my son, oh, but this, oh, but that. And, I've definitely got a very straight perspective on it, but I'd like to hear yours, and then I'm happy to share mine if that works.
Absolutely. As the days tick by and turn into weeks and weeks turn into months, I realized that the geopolitical situation is going to come and go. And now, over this specifically the last 6 months, I've had such an electric bolt in my spiritual side. I really don't care much about it. All honesty, I talk about it a lot, Lucy, because
I know you do.
the
You're a
people that
voice.
have followed me, and I'm happy to talk about it. But, you know, politicians are like cockroaches. As soon as you stamp on one, there's another one coming out the drain. It's very difficult to get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
And the only thing that they have over you, what will hold you back, is going back to basics, and that's one emotion, which is fear. Now you've got to control your fear. I was very lucky. I accidentally learned to not have any fear when I was very young. I had no idea. I wish I could remember how. It just kind of all a little bit here, a little bit there. But for older people, I think we should stay away from this, trying to convince people that what you're talking about is true. Because again, go back to the expression, only the people that want to open their eyes will see. You know, only the people who want to see will open their eyes, and the same for ears. They don't want to see, they will not open their eyes. Hence that la 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 la. Don't hear it. So yeah, my son's had a jab. He's had one. I was disappointed, but what did I do? I went back into my energy instead of being angry and saying, "I told you not to do it. What the hell are you doing? What the, you know? Do you not know this? Look at this. Read this. Look at this picture. Look at these testimonies." I did that, and it didn't work. It's a bit like as a parent when you slap your kids. Hitting your kids doesn't work. Believe me, my mother used to hit me with everything. It didn't work. So I never hit my son, and his mom didn't either. Violence in raising children doesn't work. But it's the same like this, you know, trying to convince somebody, look at the stats. Are you stupid?
It's just a different type of violence, really, isn't it now?
It's bullying.
It's opinionated bias. Yeah.
I was guilty of that because I loved him and I cared about him, and it just drove a division between us. And I realized that now, looking back a year and a half after it happened. So, you know, he's here with me at the moment. He's at home while I'm in the studio. So, and we have a great relationship. We're like good friends. The 25 years difference, you know, it's kind of cool hanging out. And he's got a big beard, and he's a great kid. So I would advise anybody that's struggling with that to say, everybody is the captain of their own ship. Let them carry on with the journey. You can give them some navigational tips. You can say, look, I have a compass on my desk, an old compass from a ship. So
because that's helpful.
So I know which way to face when I'm praying. No. I'm just saying, let them continue using their own compass on their own journey. They need to navigate it. All you can do is give them the best advice you can. But I think using the geopolitical situation to explain about the spiritual, okay, it can help people understand it. But the navigational device that you need for your spiritual journey is much deeper than whatever's coming out of a politician's mouth or whatever you're seeing on the television or the radio or the newspaper. You know, you have to ignore all that and stay focused on what you have inside, and then give people who are wandering off course the best directions you can. And that is by saying, trust your own inner compass. See, it goes right there.
Yeah, I love that. I love that very much. And actually, it's very resonant to what the conversation I have with people. So you do need to be sensible. You do need to make sure that you know your values and your standards. But that doesn't mean that everybody else has to have the same values and standards as you. Like, it's never going to happen. You won't have the same values and standards. Me and my mum are a really great example. Julie, I'll come back to your comment in a moment, actually, because I think it's very important. As long as you've put it on a public forum, so hopefully you're all right with me talking about it. Me and my mum, for example, are really, really good at this. So my number one value is freedom. You've probably noticed that if you've been following me for the last few years, or even the last 10 years, really. My number one value is freedom. My mum's number one value is security. She needs to know that she's got a roof over her head and she's got roots and she knows where all of her things are. And that's why I picked to be her daughter, because she gave me that grounding start in life. Yet, as I've grown older, I obviously got the wings and the drive and desire to go and explore the world and obviously step into my soul mission. Now, I drive my mum potty, because she never knows where I am. She's, always having to come to my apartment to water my plants and stuff because I'm never in the country and I'm off doing, and she can't make any sense of it. She can't make any sense of why I'm not married, why I'm not settled, why I'm not like the rest of her friends' children. And, you know, I don't take any personal attack from that because I know that that's her. Now, my mum and my stepdad are the only two people in my family that, or my close family anyway, that have been, you know, taken the vaccinations. So I don't, initially a bit like David, right? I was like, oh my gosh, I'm out there at the front of the protests talking about all of this stuff. And here are my, you know, my mum and stepdad, who I love more than anything, they're taking it like, what the heck? What have I done wrong? And my ego came up, like, why do they not trust me? And then I recognized that actually it's nothing about me. It's nothing to do with me. It's their choice. It's their life. It's their programs that they're running. And also, most importantly, and this is a massive piece of the puzzle that people miss, it's their soul contract.
Yeah.
They have signed something way before they came onto this earth to say, do you know what? I'm going to make these decisions. I'm going to go down this path for whatever healing, whatever karma, and we were speaking about karma a short time ago, that they need to step through. And quite frankly, this is what I say to all the ladies that message is, know yourself, be the light for the rest of your family, so that when they realize, they can come to you knowing there is going to be no judgment, knowing.
Absolutely. That's really important, Lucy, because you know what, if someone's thinking, oh, I really like to go and talk, but I know what he's going to do. He's like, I'm going to told you so. Yep. But moving to that forgiveness and understanding and just saying, well, okay, if that's the decision you want, without sounding like a psychology major, you know, well, okay, I suppose if that's the road that you want to walk down, then you just go down that road.
And roll your eyes with the disapproving
and then go. You got to leave the door open.
Exactly. Can I just go back a second, David? I know you were just about to say something, but I just want to touch on something that Julie put in here, and I'm hoping I can scroll back to her comment, because Julie put in the chat, sorry it's personal, but I think I've got shedding problems from the family as I've started menstruating again. Now,
I can cure that.
I just want to go there, because what I was saying just before was you need to have your boundaries and your standards, right? So if you know that your family are in that initial window of 1 to 5 days, or even the 1 to 30 days, because there's different shedding periods through this process, in that initial period, if you are, you know, in close proximity, and I mean sleeping in the same bed as somebody or sharing the same mug as somebody, you are going to have the reaction as if you have taken it yourself. So like I said, Julie, I don't know your family situation or who or what or when, but just put this into practicalities for yourself or anybody else that is going through this as well. You know, because one of my best friends took one and I didn't know, and he had it. And then we only went out for dinner together, and I actually didn't come on I was a month late and then 30 days late after that. So like super late, and I'm regular as clockwork. Like I'm really lucky. I just have no problems with that. And that's when I realized how significant it was. Then one of my little sisters came home from school, and she'd been near a teacher, and she was red raw. Her skin had almost fallen off of her face. Like it was, so you can imagine, you know, what I had to do with that. So what I'm saying here is forgive people for not doing what you want them to do, because that's your stuff, not theirs. But also just have a level of standard. Like if my mum said to me, oh, I'm just going to go and get my whatever number 5 or 10 or whatever number they're on now, I wouldn't then go and hug her the next day or sit in, you know, you've got to make the choices that is reasonable for you. You know, if you're somebody who is in an environment where, you know, everyone in your office, for example, is having it at a similar time and things like that, what you need to just make sure is that you know, just protect yourself as best you can. Work from home if it's a possibility, you know, like figure a way that you need to be in meetings all day with people that haven't had it recently or whatever. Just boost yourself with all of the different amazing things that are out there. Like David and many other people talk about all the different supplements that you can take to protect yourself, and just get yourself into alignment. Go on.
I can help with that, and I think we need to stop and talk about it for a couple of minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, because that hasn't come up by accident, Lucy. And I'm sitting here smiling, thinking, I wanted to stay off that. But I know a lot about shredding, Shredding.
Shedding?
Shedding. It's a spike protein when the body goes into it. Now, I've actually had several emails saying they're getting really good results by taking hydroxychloroquine on a daily basis, just snapping one of the tablets in half. Okay. Now I'll do a special deal for any of your clients, Lucy. They can do it at half price. I'll give you the link. If they want to send it out, we'll send it out. I've got UK stock and we'll do a deal on it only for your viewers. Okay, now you don't have to use that. You can do that if you want, but here's the second thing. You can make your own hydroxy, and it's from boiling the skins of citrus fruit. Grapefruits and lemons are the best. If you take all those together, boil it down, cool it, drink a glass of that a day, that'll protect you from shedding. So even if you have a partner that has been inoculated, or a family member, because why I wanted to stop is you cannot hide from this. You can avoid it. And it's like saying, oh God, I'm married, but I know that she's going to be PMTing now, so I better not go home for a week because she's going to be, screaming at me. And it's the same with shedding, because the spike protein, as the body manufactures it, you can't really tell because it happens, the technology inside these things, and I've pulled it all apart. We're not going to talk about this, the wrong show for that. You can see some of my other interviews for that. But guys, I know how to control it. You can make your own if you prefer to do that. Get some grapefruits and lemons, boil up the skins, cool the liquid down, drink a glass of that a day, or take it in a water bottle with you. Or if you want to, I'll give you the pills. You can take half of one if you're going near your family, because believe me, it's the same thing. We're just doing it on a pill form or the homemade form. A pill is tiny. Take it. You're done. On the liquid one, you're going to have to drink like a good glassful.
Okay, well, send me over the link.
I'll send a link after this, and I'll put it in, Lucy. I'd love to help you viewers, but again, what you're saying is true, but that's fair, being able to, the freedom is very important. So let's give people the freedom that they don't have to worry about that, because I actually get zero effect from, I've never had any effects from shedding. Obviously I'm male, so I don't have to worry about the menstrual thing. But I never get respiratory problems or sniffles or headaches or anything. And I've traveled, sit next to, I go out for dinner with people with it all the time, and I don't get anything. I don't know why. I cannot answer that. I don't take these.
All your pills.
No, I don't take them myself. I take them when I'm sick. I mean, I've got them lying all over the house, usually with, from people that want them. I carry them with me because a lot of people stop me and say, "Hey, Mahoney, hey. What?" And I every day people ask them, so I always have a few in my pocket and I give them away, especially the hydroxy, because it's a very, very good one. Ivermectin it goes in different things. That also is great. The 2 wonder drugs. Yeah. But your point is about choosing where you can go and what you can do. Yeah, we all have to do that. But I think it's important that we stop and acknowledge that you cannot live in fear. You've got to find a solution for that problem. And for Julie, who was having an issue with a menstrual flow because she was seeing people that were shedding on her, we found a solution for her. And I'm very happy to help with that. I'll send you a specialized 50% bloody discount rate, and it's special rate for Lucy Davis show people.
Yeah,
if they want it, I would advise you to make your own, because it's guaranteed. But if you don't have the energy and time for that, then we can do something else.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's cool. Thank you. I'm sure people will. Some people don't have the time. Some people don't have the capacity to do it. It's
keep them in your purse. Okay. If you're thinking, oh shit, I've got an office meeting tonight, just drop one.
Drop it like it's hot. That's like the good old days, honestly.
But let's go back on track. We've talked about that, because a lot of the times making decisions about people in your family. I know where you were going, Lucy. You were going, okay, you've got to make decisions about family members. I'll share something about my family. I can't stand any of them. You can come and pick them up. No.
Can I have a refund, please?
I've got the papers here. You can adopt any one of them. No, I have a younger brother lives in the States. I haven't talked to him for 8 years because he's super negative. He's super left-wing. His political beliefs and mine just completely crash. And I said, really, I'm not prepared to be dealing with this every time. It's a massive argument. I said, let him get on with his own life. Yeah. Let him just get on and do it. And I'm happy to do that. And it's the same with my sister. My sister's living in a bit of a, she needs a reality check. There's things that have happened in her life that are her own fault because she hasn't said, you know what, I'll take responsibility for that. That was a bad decision I made. It's never her fault. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always a great big conspiracy amongst all her friends and family, everybody at work. It's always her fault. And I said, listen, I'm really sorry to say that. This is exactly my words to my own sister. And I said, look, I'm really sorry. I know you're going to hate these words, but I have to tell you that, you know, you need to step up to own your own responsibilities for the situations in your life. It's nobody's fault but your own. And until you do that, I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to be continuing trying to help you, bailing you out financially, helping you with, you know, oh, my car's broken down, or I need a ticket, or my credit card's got lost. It's like all of these things. Why did your credit card get lost? It was because I went out, had too many glasses of wine, and somebody stole my handbag. It's like, well, what do you expect? You know, you're not a kid anymore. If you got a naughty teenager, all right, you know, but these things with family members are the hardest decisions to make because we don't choose our family. They're given to us. They're thrown upon us.
We do choose them, but just before we remember.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
we
not
choose
a conscious decision in this life.
Not in this lifetime. No, it's not. Because we'd probably all be asking for refunds in one way, shape, or form, you know, because I truly believe that all of us, and this has just been compounded over the last couple of years because we've had time to look at it and stop and sit back and all the rest of it. But, you know, let's go back before then. All of us would have had stuff go on with our family at some point. Like you said, you haven't spoken to your brother for 8 years. I didn't speak to my dad for 7 years at one point, you know. Like it's just, we've all got these things going on, and it's the lessons that we've chosen this lifetime. And you know, it is really difficult to make decisions sometimes because what if the person thinks this, or what if that happens? But the truth of the matter is, go inside and ask yourself what makes you happy. And going back to what David said earlier about radiators and drains, essentially positive and negative people, how they make you feel, that should be your driver. Why do you want to keep somebody happy when it is draining the life force out of you just because you want a bit of their attention, or just because you want to, you know, you just want to help them? You've got to make a decision for yourself. That's the ultimate decision that needs to be made, is making it for you and shine bright.
Yeah. And Lucy, there's two really important emotions here. It's forgiveness and understanding, because look, I'll talk about my brother as an example, right? I'm not mad at him. If he rang me, I'd say, mate, how are you? How are the kids? You know, I miss you. I used to go to Mexico all the time together on our motorcycles. We grew up, there's only, I think, 11, 12 months between us. We were like twins, and I miss him. But I know he just hates who I am because he hates who he is. And so my emotional understanding about this is I'm here waiting patiently. Like, whenever you want, all you got to do is have the courage to make those first steps and say, man, I'm fucking sorry, man. What do we have that for? I don't even remember what the mic was now. And this is important, guys, when you do this. Don't be the person who says, well, I told them because I didn't let you know. They can get lost. You got to do it in the way, say, look, I love you, but you do my head in. You know, your life's a mess. I'm trying to help you somebody. You not appreciate. You don't do it. You got to sort it out, because you're the fat guy on the Titanic that's pulling me down with the ship. And that's it. Think about this as a shipwreck. You're swimming around. You're all, you know, trying to get away from it. There's a guy over there saying, help me, I can't swim. And you think, okay, if I go over there, he's going to pull me under with him because he's going to be panicking and pulling off my life jacket. And that's the same. It's the same with people like this, these negative people that will keep holding you back. They'll keep pulling you down into the depths as the ship sinks with them. And these are the decisions that are hard to make. And it's the hardest to make when it's family members. But, you know, come up with a way of doing it. Like the way I do it is say, look, I love you and I'm so sorry. I know you're going to hate this. This is really going to hurt your feelings, but I'm only telling you the truth. It's because I care about you. I want you to understand. I want you to change and be understanding and have the forgiveness. Don't hold grudges because they smashed your car or they borrowed your clothes, or it's just their way of trying to get through their journey in this life. Be there on the sidelines at halftime or full time. when they come back, and they always will, whether it's 5 years or 10 years, they'll always come back and say, I'm so sorry. And just say, hey, forget about it. Let's focus on what we're going to do now and next. And maybe they haven't changed. Maybe that's just one of those, halftime moments when everybody breaks for the game and they have a slice of orange and something to drink. They may be the same person, but the forgiveness and understanding and being there when they do make that call is very important for the people that you love in your life. But don't let the fat guy bring you down with the sinking ship.
Yeah, absolutely. Judgment.
You like that?
Yeah, I do like that. Good job. Good job. I like that a lot.
Guy on the sinking ship.
It comes down to our traumas being brought up, and I know trauma is a very provocative word, so I know that triggers a lot of people when I use that word, but sometimes we just want to hear from our mum, I'm proud of you, but sometimes that word will never come out of the person's mouth that we would like to hear it from. It's so important that we just recognize that everything that we're experiencing, everything that we're living through, all of the decisions that we're putting off, it always ends up being, our stuff coming to the surface to be healing. So just recognize it. When you're feeling like you're not getting your own way, when you're like, why are they not listening to me? Look at where that stems from.
Yeah.
Really go there. It's so challenging to do. But if you catch yourself, okay, right, why am I angry? Because they're not listening to me. Okay. Right. When I was 4 years of age, I went to say something and my dad said, little girls should be seen and not heard, that kind of thing. And this is where your story will come from. And because we are in this hall of mirrors right now, we are looking at ourselves square in the eyes, warts and all. We have nowhere to run. We have nowhere to hide. We've got to look at it. And this is why so many people, even though, as far as I'm aware, because I don't watch any of that stuff, like I don't watch mainstream, I don't know anything about it. The most information I know is from you, Mahoney, because we talk, and even that we don't tend to talk about that, let's be honest. But it's, I don't know what's going on around the world. I don't know if there's a new variant or a new this or a new, I've got no idea. I'm so blissfully unaware to it. But if there is that going on, ask yourself why you're still giving it the energy. It's a decision again, isn't it?
It's a decision, but it's not easy to teach, because it's like trying to, do you remember at school when you had that, what was that acrobatics day? They used to make us walk along that really thin
the beam
balancing thing. Beam, yeah? This is what it's like. It's like trying to stay on there when you're being distracted all the time, to stay in your path, because you're going to, you've got monkeypox coming at you. There's a nuclear threat coming from Russia coming at you. And to try to stay on that beam is very difficult. And again, on the spiritual journey, if you can stay on that and stay in that harmonic balance, I mean, it's an amazing feeling. Because like I remember I came back from Ireland, and I went and had dinner with the boys, with the chaps. And they said, where have you been then? I said, I've been to Ireland. What are you doing over there? I said, I did an interview with a woman called Elena Denan. Oh yeah, what's she then? I said, well, she's a representative. She's one of the ambassadors of the galactics, coming here from off planet, Egypt and Anunnaki and the Nephilim, and how they were going. Oh yeah, so you sat down with the Intergalactic Federation representative, did you? And I just said, guys, just have a glass of wine and a pizza. It's not worth it. No, come on, I want to know, and I know where it's going. I'm setting myself up for ridicule and piss taking. Now, I quite like a little bit of that, so I gave them a little bit just to see where they were going to go with it. But the point I'm making is, learn how to keep your mouth shut as well. There's no point in me sitting down and trying to say, well, yeah, no, she really is right, because then what happens, right? She even wrote a book about it, right? Forget trying to convince the stupid about the journey you're on. But stay on that beam. It's tough. It's tough because you're getting distracted and your balance is going. And
when you start to wobble, just ground yourself back in, focus on something, just focus on one thing and just bring the energy back into your body,
Lucy, if your followers are listening to me as I hope they are. I suppose a middle-aged idiot in Spain rambling on, they're on the, it's great that they can focus. They're on the right path, because what we're talking about, not everybody can grasp. So if you can smile when everybody else is angry, and have the understanding and the forgiveness in your heart, saying, it's okay. I'm patient. When you're ready, I'm here. We can talk. It's like at the end of a relationship. You know, say, well, I'm leaving you and I'm keeping the juicer. You can have the poodles. It's like, I hope you enjoy the juicer. Would you like the poodles as well? No, you keep them, and I'm taking the tea, but take whatever you want. And you know what? When you're ready to come back and talk to me, I'd love to have a coffee with you, see how you're getting on. Please keep. Nah, I don't do that. Once I break up, I move on. I'm going on to the next one. That's up to you, but I'll be here if you ever need me. If you ever want to, you know, call me and say hello. Be forgiving and understanding, and make that out there. And you see, it's awkward for them. It's not awkward for you. They're the ones that don't have the courage to take those steps to come back. It's a funny situation to be in. There's many people like that I've seen, you know, that get furious, and I just smile at them, you know. And next time it's all awkward when I bump into them saying, how are you, angry.com? Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I just comment on a couple of things that are in the chat? So I think Joy has put, I'm a mother bear, so it's hard. Joy, I'm probably going to really upset you when I say this, but we make it as, you know, we can choose hard, and you can choose to make it hard for yourself, or you can just say, do you know what? Like, I'm just going to love, and I'm going to let my kids or my partner or whoever see how much I love me, and then hopefully they're going to step up and follow suit, because we're all a mirror of each other. So if you're choosing hard, you're actually mirroring back to your children that it needs to be hard, or your family or whoever, like your friends, your work colleagues, like whatever your life is. So just remember to step into that space. Like we often as humans go, oh my God, but that's so hard. Is it really? Is it really? Or is it just a case that we need to make a decision, and that's scary?
And also, we're not perfect, guys. If you think that I'm living 24 hours a day with what I'm preaching, you're mistaken. I mean, I fall off the beam a lot, you know. I'll snap. I ordered a glass of wine the other night. I said, could I have it a little bit cold? And there was a 16-year-old started lecturing me about how red wine shouldn't be kept cold. I said, yeah, but you've had it in the hot sun all day. Now you've turned it into a soup. I said, and what, you're starting an argument with a customer? I just don't want to try. I said, you know what? I'm going. So simple things, you know. I could have handled it better.
Well, imagine you having a hissy fit like that.
It wasn't a hissy fit.
I definitely need to get you meditating, Mahoney.
She was hissing at me behind me. I said, no, that's really, I took one sip of it. I said, that's hot. Honestly, it was like a tepid cup of tea that had it in the sun. It was corked. And I went, hey, I said, that's hot. I asked for a little bit, you know, put it in a temperature controlled box, and the temperature's here. And then I had a 16-year-old lecturing me about, I don't know anything about wine. I said, excuse me, I'm the customer. You're a 16-year-old tattooed schoolgirl that's working behind the bar. Obviously, is clueless. And I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm not going to get in a fight, an argument about, again, choose your battles. And I slipped and I started getting into it. I should have just said, see you later. That's it.
That's what you should have done.
Yeah.
What, by the time I finished with... By the time I finished with you in your meditation, Mahoney, you're going to just be levitating out of there.
Namaste. Be like, I forgive you, my princess. No, but it's important that we as we chat, like in these chats, which I actually really love now. I've turned these into a series. The Lucy Davis and what did I call it? The Adventures in
Lucy
Divine...
and Mahoney. Divine. No, hang on a minute. It was Divine. Activation Adventures or something like that. Yeah,
they're really good.
I went mystical. He wanted divine.
I wanted the explosions and the car chases. But I want people to know that although they're listening to us, by all means, I absolutely hold my hand up and say, you know, I'll have a little moment and I'll realize what I'm doing. And again, looking at myself in the mirror, it's like, oh man, what you do? You're an idiot. Why would you do that?
No, you're not.
So we're only human, but keep those two, forgiveness and understanding, in your heart, because you are going to have to make some very tough decisions on this journey. And what we've been talking about, this activation journey, this adventure that you're already on, and it's going to get stronger and stronger the more that you walk down that path. You're going to need this forgiveness and understanding, because you are going to have to make some very tough decisions in your life about people you love. And make no mistake, you might not know how to do it at first, but you know it inside here. And it's just about listening to your meditational journey experience and advice, Lucy. Maybe they can get some guidance from in that. I don't know, because that's not where I get my inner guides from. So,
well, my suggestion is obviously, like we've just mentioned, we're going to be doing a lot of adventures together, aren't we? We're going to be taking people all around the world to see certain things that we're activating, and the adventures that I've been doing for many years, and David's been doing unknowingly for many years by all accounts.
You should have been documenting yours. It's a shame, but okay, it's not too late to start.
Well, we're starting now, and my book documents from 2013
well done.
to 2018, and then the second book will do 2018 to 2022, and then you're taking over from here, so we're good.
Oh, that's nice. Become your media manager.
Basically, I've hunted you out for a reason, Mahoney.
I'm only being nice to you for your camera skills.
I basically just want to learn everything from you, and then I'm going to run away.
I'm happy to teach you, but I think what we've got here, this activational courses that we're doing is very important, and I can feel it. You know, it balances me. After I get off with a chat with you, I'm like, whoa, because
you're welcome.
I leave all the other distractions around me, and I get in front of the studio, and it's difficult, folks, at home, because it's just a camera. It's not like Lucy's here, but you just get into it, start channeling it, and you do go into the inner voice and the inner feeling in here. You're not thinking, it's full feeling, and getting these life tips out of that inner instruction manual. It's a nice feeling to share it, and I wish, you know, I could extend my arms to everybody in the group and bring them along with us as well, like a huge wave.
We are going to, kind of.
I love it.
But what I'm most excited about, ladies and gents, and you should buckle up for this, is my next adventure with Mahoney's not too far away. And I know that by the time I finish with it, we're going to have a very different Mahoney. He'll still be fun before you start saying, but I just know he'll be out there somewhere. So buckle up. It's not too long.
It'll be last man standing who's got the most power.
I just see, because I see past, I think I explained to you when I was away meditating for that week, I see past this. I get the soul, I see the light body within you, and I just know what that's capable of doing. And I'm so freaking excited for the rest of the world to get that vibration from you, as well as the cheeky, lively, funny, you know, that it's just going to be a really beautiful combination for everybody to see.
I'm excited to experience that as well, because I'm ready too, Lucy. It's reached a point now. I'm like, okay, this geopolitical. Look, this is my like workbook. Every interview, it's just all geopolitical. I read it off, you know. Anne Vandersteel, Stonehenge, Italy, Epstein. Yeah, what else? Distilled water, Robert Young. I mean, it just goes on. And I've got pictures of cats for some reason. Who put them in there? Must be my nieces. Clive Freeman, you know, it's just all negative, trying to keep everything in there. Yeah. So I'm happy to do something else, because it's something I feel it's going to balance me out a bit, because I can't just ignore this. I'll be in this until we're done with this fight, but the spiritual stuff will take us into all through this lifetime and into many dimensions. If I get to be shown the right way, I would like to go to some of those realms as well.
Well, let me offer you a hand, my dear.
Let me show you the way.
I will take you by the hand and take you to those realms.
To Neverland.
You can report back to everybody on how that was for you.
Well, you know, in all seriousness, if you can do it with me, then that means we can do it with anybody.
Exactly.
Because that's what I think. It's quite a tough one with me. There's a lot of things I'm very good at. That's not. Say again.
I got that in.
I didn't hear it. What was the sarcastic one?
I just said you're slightly more stubborn than some of the other people.
Yeah, but I'm open to it now. You know,
I know you are.
I'm open to it now because I've seen you work.
I scared him at first, ladies and gents.
Kind of did. I thought.
You were scared of me.
Listen, Lucy, there is no way I would let a woman rattle around and get inside my head and start making suggestions. I tell you what you want to do. Not unless there was a lot of trust. It's like trying to fall asleep with someone you know is a bad driver. You're constantly one eye open, you know, every time there's a rumble. What was that?
That's how I'm going to be when we do our next adventure.
Guys, when we were in Ireland the last time, Lucy was driving. I've misplaced my driving license. I have to go to Germany to get it replaced. So she was driving and I said, stop the car. I'm going in this shop. And I came out with 2 ice cream cones, 99s. I said, there's yours. She said, you idiot. How am I going to eat that and drive? It's a manual. I have to change gear.
I didn't call you an idiot. I'd never call you an idiot, just to be clear.
All right, I'll give you that. How am I going to eat this? I said, all right, I'll change the gears and I'll eat mine. And you steer the car and you can eat yours. So we were driving around Ireland like 2 idiots eating ice cream. What gear is that in now? I don't know, but the car's chugging.
Oh, it's hilarious.
That's funny, that wasn't it? It was a totally normal thing to do. Well, you see, you had the problem. I thought I know the solution. Just switch hands. Just put it in that hand and drive. Go on, I'll do the gears.
It was so funny. We had a right laugh in Ireland, didn't we? We had such a laugh because initially, ladies and gents, he was like, move over, I'll drive. And I was like, no, I'm good. You can drive tomorrow or something. No, I'm good. And then he was like, oh, you can actually drive.
Yeah, you're a good driver. I'll say that. I could sleep next to you driving.
Oh,
yeah,
wow. That's a huge compliment.
But I haven't seen you drive on this side in the continent,
Oh, I'm good as gold.
That's true.
Well, I'll be doing that soon. So
as she smashes into the back of an ice cream truck.
No, I drove over 1,800 miles. I like the way it's in the back of an ice cream truck. I drove over 1,800 miles when I was in Eastern Europe, literally a few weeks ago. 1,824 miles to be precise. And that's
actually a lot in that part of the world.
It was huge. We did so many miles. We covered so many countries. It was unbelievable. So
did the guy not say what the hell's going on when he got the car and he was looking at the mileage like this can't be right?
No,
you didn't say that.
No, because I just gave. I mean, come on, it was me and one of my girlfriends. There was no way he was going to challenge anything that we had done. We were just like, "Hi, good to see you." Gave him the keys back. It was good as gold.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have believed that you've been driving all around Eastern Europe. He thought you'd gone to the hotel, to the beach, maybe a few restaurants.
He did, because I said to him, I need to go into multiple countries. And he said, how many countries? And I was like, well, potentially 4 or 5. So he knew what was happening. And I'm not one of these people that say I'm going to do something and then don't do it. Not that he would know that, but just for everybody else's benefit. If I say I'm doing something, I'm doing it with bells on,
I had to rent a van once and I drove it from London to Barcelona and back. And when I took it back, the guy said, here, there's about 3,000 miles on this van. Where have you been? I said, I only drove up to Scotland and back. He says, it's 3,000. I said, no, mate, you must have written it down wrong. He says, no, I didn't. I said, well, I drove to Scotland and back. That was it. Barcelona. Because it was, it was like, I didn't know it was like 5 pence a mile or something. He's like, right, that'd be 300 grand, please. I was like, you can piss off.
No.
I said, what do you think? Barcelona.
Lucy does the organising.
I'm not that person anymore, Lucy. Right, I'm going to meet an old friend of mine for dinner now, Lucy. I'm going to take my son out to an amazing restaurant. I'm going to meet my friend Matthew from London and his family, his beautiful wife, his beautiful kids. I haven't seen them for a year, so I'm excited to see them. And I'm excited for our next episode. And thank you very much for inviting me on again. It's a very nice, soul-warming moment we share on here. It's good. And I'll send you the link. If anybody wants to take advantage, I'll do a special deal for your viewers where they can have them in 2 or 3 days because I've got stock in the UK. And if they're in America, I don't know where they are, but we'll fix it.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Well, there's been about 10 requests of different places that they want us to go to. So I'll take a look back through them and send it because it might be places that we've already discussed.
You mean together?
They're like, please come to the US. Please come back to Ireland. Oh my God.
We have got more work in Ireland. I know that.
We have. There's Lucy, go over to Spain as soon as possible, darling, from Julie. So
I'll see you soon, no matter what.
You will do, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Lots of love. Take care. See you soon.
Adios.
Ciao.